The security footage timestamp flickered. 11:47 p.m., Chicago Memorial Hospital. Glass shattered. Alarms screamed. 3 men in tactical gear lay unconscious across the marble floor of the executive wing atrium. Standing over them, breathing hard, was a black man in a janitor's uniform. Blood streaked his sleeve. He held an IV stand like a spear. Behind him, Senator Victoria Brennan, one of the most powerful women in America, pressed against the wall in a hospital gown, her eyes wide with terror and confusion. The janitor's name tag read, Terrell James. "Ma'am," he said, his voice unnaturally calm, "I need you to stay behind me." 12 hours ago, Terrell James had been invisible, a ghost who mopped floors and emptied trash cans while powerful people walked past him like he didn't exist. But in 12 minutes, everything had changed. In 12 minutes, the most dangerous man in Chicago was about to learn why you should never, ever underestimate the help. The question wasn't what happened. The question was, how the hell did a hospital janitor end up here? 24 hours earlier, Terrell pushed his cleaning cart down the same hallway, invisible as always. At 41 years old, he'd perfected the art of not being seen. Head down, eyes forward, speak only when spoken to, which was almost never. The administrators barely glanced at him. To them, he was furniture. Moving furniture that kept their hospital clean, but furniture nonetheless. 7 years.
7 years.
7 years since Terrell James had disappeared into this quiet life. He'd been someone once. Army Rangers. Decorated. The kind of soldier who ran toward gunfire while others ran away. But that was before Afghanistan. Before the botched raid that killed his entire unit, 12 men, 12 brothers, and left him as the sole survivor. When he came home demanding answers about the intelligence failure that murdered his team, the military gave him an honorable discharge and a warning. Stay quiet, or accidents happen. So he'd stayed quiet, changed his name on employment records, took a job no one noticed, divorced his wife because the nightmares made him dangerous, stopped calling his daughter Amber because hearing her voice reminded him he didn't deserve happiness. His studio apartment was military precise. No photos except one. Amber at age 10, smiling, before she learned her father was a coward who chose survival over truth. His phone buzzed. 3 missed calls from Amber. He stared at her name, then put the phone away. What could he possibly say to her? Long night, Terrell? Doctor? Simone Reeves stood beside the nurse's station, a coffee cup in each hand. She was the only person in the entire hospital who treated him like a human being. The only one who remembered his name, his coffee order, asked about his day. Same as always, Dr. Reeves, he said. Simone, how many times do I have to tell you? She handed him one of the cups. Black. 2 sugars. You've been here 5 years, and you still won't come to a single staff barbecue. I'm not really a crowd person. She studied him with those sharp, knowing eyes. Doctor. Simone Reeves had grown up on Chicago's South Side, worked 3 jobs to get through medical school, lost her younger brother to police violence 6 years ago. She recognized broken people because she'd been broken herself and put herself back together. You know what I think, Terrell? I think you're afraid of being seen. The observation hit too close. He busied himself with his cart. Senator Brennan's here tonight, Simone said, changing the subject. Private wing. She's testifying before Congress tomorrow about the titanium pharma price-fixing scandal. Terrell's hands stilled on the mop handle. The senator's here? Tonight? Yeah. She's anxious about the testimony. I'm keeping an eye on her. Simone checked her watch. Why do you ask? No reason. You should get some rest, though. Doc. Can't. Duty calls. She smiled and walked away. Terrell watched her go, an uncomfortable feeling spreading through his chest. Senator Victoria Brennan was about to expose pharmaceutical companies who'd profited billions while people died from unaffordable medication. Powerful people wanted her silenced. And she was here. Tonight. With skeleton security. He told himself it wasn't his problem. 3 floors below, 4 men entered through the hospital's loading dock. They wore contractor coveralls and carried HVAC equipment cases. To the drowsy security guard monitoring cameras, they looked legitimate. The guard didn't know his coffee had been drugged 20 minutes earlier. The man leading them moved with quiet precision. Dominic Raines was 45. British, former MI6 turned corporate fixer. He'd orchestrated 14 assassinations across 3 continents, each one disguised as an accident, a medical error, a suicide. He was an artist, and tonight's canvas was Senator Victoria Brennan. Team positions, he said into his radio. We have 12 minutes before the shift change. Security's handled. Cameras on loop. Skeleton crew on the executive floor. What about the night staff? One operative asked. Raines checked his expensive watch. Nurse's station is on the 2nd floor. 1 physician doing rounds. 1 janitor on the executive level. The janitor could be a problem. Raines glanced at the speaker with cold contempt. It's a janitor, not a concern. But had Raines bothered to look at the security footage more carefully, had he bothered to see the person and not just the uniform, he would have noticed something. The way Terrell James moved, economical, aware, always checking sightlines and exits. The posture of someone trained for combat. Dominic Raines was about to make the fatal mistake of his career. He didn't see Terrell James at all. Before we continue with what happened next, if you're enjoying this story, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This channel brings you real stories of courage, injustice, and redemption every week. Now, back to Terrell. Terrell noticed the first detail at 11:23 p.m. Fresh tool marks on the emergency exit alarm panel. Someone had manually disabled it within the last hour. He crouched down, studying the scrapes on the screws. Professional work. The second detail. The security camera at the hallway intersection had been adjusted. The angle was wrong, leaving a blind spot near the senator's wing. The third detail. Boot prints in the stairwell. Not work boots. Tactical boots. Military grade. Terrell's heart rate didn't increase. His breathing stayed steady. 7 years of civilian life hadn't erased 20 years of training. His body remembered what his mind tried to forget. He pulled out his phone to call hospital security. No signal. Cell jammer. He moved quickly to the security office. Both guards slumped in their chairs, alive but unconscious. Their coffee cups still warm. Drugged. Terrell stood in the doorway, his reflection in the dark monitor screens. He could walk away. Go home. Stay invisible. These weren't his people. This wasn't his fight. He'd already lost everyone he loved, trying to be a hero. Then he heard Dr. Simone Reeves's voice down the hall. Excuse me. You can't go in there without authorization. A male voice, cold. Step aside. Ma'am, I'm the attending physician. I'm asking you to. The distinct sound of a weapon being drawn. A slide being racked. Terrell's jaw clenched. His hands became fists. 7 years of hiding. Over in 7 seconds. Terrell moved to his locker in the basement break room. Hidden behind his lunch bag was a Glock 19. Military contacts had warned him years ago. They're still watching you. Stay armed, just in case. He'd kept it out of paranoia. Now he was grateful. But he wouldn't use it unless absolutely necessary. Guns meant noise, panic, collateral damage. He needed to be smarter. He knew this hospital better than anyone. Every supply closet, every maintenance tunnel, every blind spot. He grabbed his radio from the cart and switched to the hospital's maintenance frequency. Immediately he heard voices. Bravo 2, you're cleared to advance on the target room. Copy. Moving now. Bravo 3, secure the stairwell. No witnesses. Professional. Coordinated. Military trained. Terrell switched off his radio and moved. The first operative never saw him coming. The man entered a medical supply room, expecting it empty. Terrell was waiting behind the door. The confrontation lasted 8 seconds. Terrell used a sedative from the supply shelf and zip ties from the maintenance supplies. The operative went down without a sound. Terrell took the man's radio and earpiece. Through the stolen comms, he heard Dominic Raines's voice. Bravo 2, Status report. Silence. Bravo 2. Respond immediately. More silence. A pause then. Bravo 3. Bravo 4. We have a problem. Find the janitor. Now. One of the operatives laughed. The janitor? Raines's voice turned to ice. Find him. Terrell knew he couldn't fight 4 trained killers in direct combat. But he didn't need to. He just needed to slow them down until the shift change brought more security, more witnesses. The second operative entered stairwell B. In response to a false alarm, Terrell triggered using the hospital intercom system. The man descended cautiously, weapon drawn. He didn't notice the medical oxygen tank Terrell had positioned near the exposed electrical panel. Didn't see the makeshift tripwire. The explosion wasn't large, but in the enclosed stairwell, it was devastating. The operative went down, and the fire alarm system activated. Sprinklers engaged throughout the executive wing. Through the stolen radio, Terrell heard chaos. What the hell was that? Bravo 4 is down. Repeat, Bravo 4 is down. Dominic Raines's voice cut through the panic. Enough. Forget the quiet approach. Kill everyone on this floor. The janitor, the doctor, the senator. Leave no witnesses. We clean this up permanently. Terrell's blood went cold. He'd escalated the situation and now Simone was in more danger. He had to change tactics. Dr. Simone Reeves had barricaded herself and Senator Brennan inside the senator's private room. She'd pushed the bed against the door and armed herself with the only weapon available, a pair of surgical scissors. Senator Brennan sat on the floor, trembling. What's happening? I don't know, Simone lied. She knew exactly what was happening. She'd received threatening messages for weeks. Stop treating her. Final warning. She'd ignored them, believing they were empty threats. She'd been wrong. The door handle rattled. A voice outside, calm and British. Dr. Reeves, I appreciate your loyalty, but this is futile. Open the door, and I'll make it quick. You won't suffer. Simone's hand tightened on the scissors. I'm going to count to 3, the voice continued. Then my associate will breach this door with explosive charges. You'll both die in the blast. And frankly, that's messier for everyone. 1. Senator Brennan whispered. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I brought this to your hospital. 2. Simone closed her eyes, thinking of her brother, wondering if this was how he felt in his final moments. The lights went out. Emergency generators kicked in, bathing everything in red. Then came sounds Simone would never forget. Impact, a man's grunt of pain, something metal clattering to the floor, a body hitting the wall. Silence, a knock on the door. Terrell's voice. Dr. Reeves. It's me. You can open up. Simone opened the door to find 2 unconscious men in the hallway and Terrell standing calmly, slightly out of breath. He'd taken down 2 trained killers using nothing but hospital equipment and the element of surprise. Who are you? Simone whispered. Someone who used to be good at this. Terrell helped Senator Brennan to her feet. We need to move. There's one more, and he's the dangerous one. One more? Terrell, what is happening? Later. Right now, I need you to trust me. But Terrell had made a critical miscalculation. He'd assumed containing the threat quietly was possible. He'd underestimated Dominic Raines's willingness to burn everything down rather than fail. Raines stood in the hospital's fire control room, studying the building schematics. He'd already lost 3 men to a janitor. His reputation was ruined unless he completed the mission. And if he couldn't complete it quietly, he'd complete it spectacularly. He activated the hospital's emergency broadcast system. Attention all personnel. This is an armed intruder alert. Executive wing is now in active lockdown. All personnel evacuate immediately. Then Raines did something Terrell hadn't anticipated. He triggered the fire suppression system in the data center, destroying security footage. Without evidence, it would be Raines's word against a janitor's. And Raines knew exactly how that story would end. If you're on the edge of your seat right now, imagine how Terrell felt. Drop a comment telling us what you would do in his position. And don't forget to like this video. It helps us bring you more incredible true stories. Terrell realized what Rains was doing, erasing the evidence, planning to eliminate all witnesses, then disappear. The senator, Simone, Terrell himself, they'd all be found dead. And Rains would spin it as a violent veteran who snapped. Terrell needed witnesses, needed cameras, needed the confrontation to be public and undeniable. "Follow me," he told Simone and the senator. He led them toward the main atrium, the 3-story open space with glass elevators and skylights, multiple camera angles, patient rooms overlooking it. Impossible to erase. "Are you insane?" Simone hissed. "That's completely exposed." "Exactly. He can't kill us if 50 people are watching." Terrell positioned them near the nurse's station and told Simone, "When I tell you, trigger the panic alarm. Every camera in this hospital will activate. Every system will record." "Terrell, who are you really?" He met her eyes. "Someone who's tired of being invisible." Dominic Rains emerged from the shadows, weapon drawn. He'd changed strategy too. If this was going public, he'd simply shoot them and claim self-defense. Violent veteran attacked, and he was forced to respond. But as Rains raised his weapon, Terrell moved. What happened next would be watched by millions within hours. Terrell used a gurney as a mobile shield, charging directly at Rains. The British operative fired twice, bullets puncturing the thin mattress. But Terrell was already moving laterally, using the IV stand as a staff, striking Rains's gun hand. The weapon skittered across the marble floor. Patients peered out from their rooms, phones recording. Simone hit the panic alarm. Every security camera in the building activated. Every system began documenting. Rains was skilled, but Terrell had 20 years of close-quarters combat training. And more importantly, Terrell was fighting for people he cared about. Rains was fighting for money. The confrontation spilled across the atrium. Terrell used everything: a wheelchair as a projectile, a defibrillator as a taser, medical equipment transformed into weapons. Rains tried to retreat toward the stairwell, but Terrell cut him off. "You made a mistake," Terrell said, breathing hard. "I underestimated you," Rains admitted. "You're military. Black Ops? Army Rangers. Then you understand, this is just business. Nothing personal. You made it personal when you threatened her." Terrell gestured towards Simone. Rains lunged one final time. Terrell sidestepped, used Rains's momentum against him, and sent the man crashing through a glass partition. Rains collapsed, unconscious. Police sirens wailed outside. FBI vehicles screeched into the parking lot. Someone had already leaked the security footage to news outlets. Terrell dropped the IV stand and sank to his knees, exhausted. Senator Brennan approached him, tears streaming down her face. "You saved my life." Terrell looked at his hands, shaking now that the adrenaline was fading. I just did what needed doing." A police officer handcuffed him anyway protocol, while federal agents swarmed the scene. And somewhere across the city, Terrell's teenage daughter Amber watched her phone in shock as a video went viral. Hospital janitor stops assassination attempt. The man in the video, fighting with precision and courage, was her father. The father who disappeared from her life 7 years ago. Within 2 hours, number Invisible Guardian was trending worldwide. The security footage was everywhere. News channels, social media, international press. Terrell's face was suddenly the most recognizable in America. The hospital's CEO, Arnold Fisher, held a press conference, sweating under the lights. "We're incredibly proud of our employee, Mr. James. His heroism exemplifies the values of Chicago Memorial." Senator Brennan stood beside him. "This man saved my life. He's a hero, and I'll make sure the world knows it." Reporters shouted questions. "Mr. James, are you military? Were you working with security? How did you know the assassination was happening?" Terrell, still in his janitor's uniform, looked overwhelmed. I noticed things didn't look right. I did what anyone would do, but not everyone saw him as a hero." In a corporate war room, 3 states away, Titanium Pharma executives watched the news with cold fury. Their stock had already dropped 12%. Senator Brennan's testimony tomorrow would destroy them completely, unless they destroyed Terrell James first. Discredit him? The CEO said. I don't care how. Make him the villain. Make him the story instead of us. Within the hour, the disinformation campaign began. The attacks came from every direction simultaneously. Social media bots flooded platforms. Terrell James is a crisis actor. Violent veteran with PTSD. Stages publicity stunt. Why hasn't mainstream media investigated his background? Anonymous witnesses appeared on conspiracy websites, claiming they'd seen Terrell working with the assassins, that the whole thing was staged for Senator Brennan's political gain. Doctored photos circulated. Terrell with gang symbols, fake arrest records, fabricated dishonorable discharge papers. Cable news picked up the controversy. Questions surrounding hospital hero. The danger of vigilante violence. Did PTSD turn a veteran into a threat? Within 24 hours, Terrell went from hero to suspect. Hospital CEO Fisher called him into his office. I'm sorry, Terrell. Liability concerns. We have to let you go. Doctor. Simone Reeves protested. This is cowardice. This man saved lives. Fisher wouldn't meet her eyes. Dr. Reeves, I suggest you worry about your own position. The hospital can't afford to be associated with controversy. Terrell cleaned out his locker in silence. 7 years of invisible work, erased in a day. His phone rang. His ex-wife. They're saying terrible things about you, Terrell. Amber's school is a nightmare. Other kids are calling her a liar, saying her father staged the whole thing for attention. Then a voicemail from Amber herself, her voice breaking. Dad, I defended you. I told them you're a hero. But now everyone's calling me stupid. Dad, did you really do it? Did you really save her? Because they're showing evidence that says you didn't, and I don't. I don't know what's real anymore. Terrell sat in his car in the hospital parking lot, listening to his daughter doubt him, and something inside him cracked. The death threats started on day 3. Text messages from unknown numbers. You should have stayed invisible. Nigger thinks he's a hero. We know where your daughter goes to school. A package arrived at his apartment. Photos of Amber walking home, red circles drawn around her head. Terrell's PTSD, dormant for years, roared back to life. He couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. The walls of his studio apartment felt like they were closing in. News played constantly on his laptop. Pundits debating whether he was hero or fraud. His military record being picked apart. His mental health questioned. Experts suggest James may have experienced a psychotic episode. Unconfirmed reports of violent behavior during his military service. The FBI has opened an investigation into what James coordinated with the attackers. None of it was true. All of it was everywhere. Terrell sat in the dark, his service weapon on the table in front of him. The same gun that had saved Senator Brennan now seemed to offer a different kind of salvation. Maybe they were right. Maybe everyone he touched got hurt. His unit in Afghanistan, his ex-wife, his daughter. Maybe the world would be better if Terrell James disappeared. Permanently this time. His phone buzzed. Another message from Amber. Dad, please call me back. I'm scared. He stared at it, his hand hovering over the gun. A knock at the door made him jump. Terrell, open up. It's Simone. He didn't move. Terrell, I know you're in there. Open this door or I'm calling 911. He finally stood, unlocked it. Dr. Simone Reeves took one look at his face, at the gun, on the table, and understood immediately. No, she said firmly, stepping inside. No, you don't get to do that. You don't understand. I don't understand that liars are loud. I understand that powerful people are trying to destroy you because you did the right thing. I understand that truth doesn't change because someone buys a lot of bots. She gripped his shoulders. I know what I saw, Terrell. You saved my life. You saved Senator Brennan's life. That's the truth, and I'm not letting you forget it. It doesn't matter, he whispered. They have everything. Money, media, power. They don't have this. She held up her phone. FBI agent Jennifer Torres. She's been investigating Titanium Pharma for 3 years. She's outside right now. She needs your help. Terrell looked at her, confused. Help with what? Bringing down the people who did this to you. All of this. FBI agent Jennifer Torres sat in Terrell's apartment, files spread across his coffee table. She was Latina, 40-something, with the tired eyes of someone who'd seen too much corruption and not enough justice. Dominic Raines, she said, pointing to a photo. We've been tracking him for 3 years. 12 assassinations across 5 countries. Journalists, whistleblowers, government officials, all made to look like accidents or suicides. He's a ghost. Was a ghost? Until you. Why are you telling me this? Because you're the first person who ever stopped him. And because the disinformation campaign against you? We traced it. Bot farms in Eastern Europe. Paid influencers in the US. PR firms on retainer for Titanium Pharma. They're coordinating your destruction from a war room in Connecticut. She pulled out another file. Here's what we have. Financial records linking Titanium Pharma executives to Raines's assassination network. Communications proving they ordered Senator Brennan's death. Evidence of 11 other hits they funded. But we need more. We need tactical analysis of Raines's methods. We need someone who understands how he operates. You need me to help you build the case. Yes, but I won't lie to you, Mr. James. When we go public with this investigation, they'll come after you harder. The attacks will get worse before they get better. Terrell thought of Amber, terrified and bullied. Thought of his ex-wife, harassed. Thought of Dr. Simone Reeves, who'd risked her career to stand beside him. My daughter, he said quietly. If I do this, can you protect her? FBI protection. Safe house if necessary. Terrell looked at the photo of Raines, then at the files, documenting 12 dead people who'd tried to expose corporate corruption. 12 people who'd been silenced because no one fought back. I couldn't save my unit in Afghanistan, he said. Couldn't save my marriage. But maybe I can save the next person they target. He looked at Agent Torres. Tell me what you need. The FBI investigation moved quickly once Terrell joined. His tactical analysis cracked open Raines's entire operation. He always has a backup exit. Always. Check the building schematics for maintenance access within 50 feet of every hit location. They found it. A pattern across all 12 assassinations. Maintenance tunnels, service elevators, delivery entrances. Raines's escape routes were always hidden in the infrastructure that invisible workers used. He'd weaponized the places no one looked. The financial forensics team traced payments from Titanium Pharma through shell corporations in the Cayman Islands, eventually landing in Raines's accounts. $50 million over 5 years. The FBI discovered the bot farms, the PR firms, the paid media personalities who'd attacked Terrell, all funded by Titanium Pharma's crisis management budget. And then they found something unexpected. Hospital CEO Arnold Fisher had accepted $200,000 to provide security schedules and disable certain alarms the night of the assassination attempt. When agents arrested him, Fisher broke down completely. I didn't think they'd really do to it. I thought it was just, I have gambling debts. They said they'd kill my family. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. His testimony provided the final pieces. Federal agents arrested Dominic Raines at the airport, attempting to flee to a country with no extradition treaty. 3 Titanium Pharma executives were arrested during a board meeting, carried out in handcuffs while news cameras rolled. The evidence was released publicly. Audio recordings, financial documents, emails discussing eliminating problems and permanent solutions. The media reversed overnight. Hero vindicated. Pharmaceutical giant's murder-for-hire scheme exposed. Hospital janitor was right all along. How we failed Terrell James. Social media flooded with apologies. The people who'd called him a fraud now called him a hero. Again. But Terrell didn't care about vindication. he cared about one phone call. Dad? Hey, baby girl. Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I doubted you. You had every reason to doubt. They made it look real. No, I should have known. I should have trusted you. Amber, listen to me. You're not responsible for believing lies when lies are all you're shown. The people who lied are responsible. Not you. Never you. She was crying. I love you, Dad. I love you too, baby, so much. The congressional hearing was broadcast live to 40 million viewers. Senator Brennan testified first, detailing the pharmaceutical price-fixing scheme that had killed thousands. Then Terrell took the stand. He didn't talk about heroism or danger. He talked about invisibility. Every day, millions of people keep this country running. We clean your offices. We guard your buildings. We care for your sick. We see everything. We hear everything. And we're invisible. Until you need us to stay silent about what we know. I was invisible for 7 years. I chose it. I thought staying small kept my family safe. But silence doesn't protect us. It protects them. Every janitor, every security guard, every healthcare worker, we have skills, stories, and dignity. When we witness crimes, we should be protected, not targeted. I didn't save a senator that night. I saved a person. Because that's what you do when someone's in danger. At least, that's what we're supposed to do, a congressman interrupted. Mr. James, some have criticized your use of violence that night. Terrell met his eyes. Sir, with respect, I used the minimum force necessary to protect lives. Those men came to kill. I came to clean floors. Only one of us was doing our job. The chamber erupted in applause. Senator Brennan announced the Invisible Heroes Protection Act. Whistleblower protections for all service workers, anonymous reporting infrastructure, criminal penalties for corporate retaliation. It passed both houses within 6 months. Dominic Raines received life without parole. The Titanium Pharma executives got 25 years each. The company collapsed, drowning in lawsuits and criminal penalties. But the real change happened quietly, in hospitals and office buildings and warehouses across the world. Service workers started speaking up, started reporting crimes they witnessed, started refusing to be invisible. Dr. Simone Reeves and Senator Brennan launched the Silent Witness Foundation, providing legal support for workers who exposed corporate corruption. Within a year, 3,000 cases, 47 corporate prosecutions. Terrell became Director of Security Services at Chicago Memorial Hospital. A real position, earned respect. But more importantly, he became someone workers could come to when they witnessed wrongdoing. One evening, he walked the familiar hallways in his security uniform. A young black janitor approached nervously. Mr. James? I think I saw something I shouldn't have. In the pharmaceutical storage. Terrell placed a hand on his shoulder. You did the right thing, coming to me. You don't think I'm crazy? I'm just what? Nobody. I'm just nobody. Terrell looked at him, seeing himself 7 years ago. Brother, there's no such thing as nobody. Tell me what you saw. They walked down the corridor together, and Terrell thought about invisibility. How it had protected him and imprisoned him. How it had made him powerful and powerless. Invisibility was a choice society made, choosing not to see the people who kept the world running, choosing comfort over conscience. But the invisible saw everything. And sometimes, when they refused to stay silent, they changed the world. Terrell James had been invisible for 7 years, but when it mattered most, he'd been impossible to stop. If this story moved you, honor it by hitting that subscribe button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because everyone deserves to be seen. And every voice, no matter how quiet they've been forced to be, deserves to be heard. Drop a comment telling us about a time you chose to speak up when staying silent would have been easier. Your story matters. You matter. This is Crime Nest Stories, reminding you that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear janitors' uniforms and mop floors at midnight.